Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Watch this video till the end and help the channel grow. It happened faster than anyone expected. One night, the lights of Pyongyang flickered and never came back on. The statues stood tall, but the power behind them was gone. For the first time in over 70 years, the iron grip of the Kim dynasty had finally cracked. This is the story of what could happen if North Korea, the world's most secretive nation, collapsed. To imagine the end, we must first understand the beginning. In 1948, amid the ashes of World War II and the partition of Korea, a man named Kim Il-sung rose from obscurity to power. Backed by the Soviet Union, Kim established the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, a country built on ideology, isolation, and absolute control. North Korea wasn't just another communist state. It became a cult of personality unlike any other. Kim Il-sung declared himself the great leader. His son Kim Jong Un became the dear leader. And later, Kim Jong Un the supreme leader. 3 generations of power, bound by blood, myth, and fear. The regime didn't just control people's lives, it controlled their thoughts. Radios were fixed to only government channels. Children learned songs about the Kim family before they learned the alphabet. Every citizen bowed before the portraits of the Kims hanging in their homes. Yet beneath this godlike image, the regime was built on fragility, starvation, propaganda, and terror. Today, North Korea is one of the last totalitarian states on Earth. Its borders are sealed. Its economy barely functions. Its internet connects only to propaganda sites. But somehow, the regime survives, even thrives, on fear. The State Security Department, the Ministry of People's Security, and the military elite all serve one purpose: to maintain loyalty to Kim Jong Un. In return, they get privilege: luxury cars, imported wine, and foreign education for their children. The rest of the population? They survive on state rations, black market trade, or smuggled goods from China. Yet the real control mechanism isn't just force, it's isolation. The people of North Korea have no frame of reference. They've been told for generations that the outside world is suffering, that America and South Korea are evil, and that only the Kim family protects them. But cracks are beginning to form. In the 1990s, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, North Korea suffered its worst famine, the arduous march. Hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions, died. For the first time, citizens saw the truth. The regime could not feed them. The black market, known as the Jangmadang, emerged. Ordinary people began trading, buying, and selling secretly. For the first time, power shifted slightly from the state to the people. In recent years, defectors, foreign media smuggling, and illegal cell phones have begun to erode the wall of lies. South Korean dramas are watched in secret. People whisper about how rich life is across the border. Even within the regime, there's unease. Kim Jong Un executes generals, ministers, even family members to prevent dissent. But paranoia is a double-edged sword. The more he kills, the more the fear grows within his own circle, and fear can spark collapse. Now imagine this. A series of small events set off a chain reaction. A severe drought devastates crops. China tightens border control. Sanctions cut off vital imports. The elite, desperate and divided, begin hoarding resources. Then it happens, an explosion near a military compound. Some blame rebels, others claim it's a coup attempt. Kim Jong Un disappears from public view for weeks. Rumors swirl. Has he fled? Has he been assassinated? The chain of command fractures. Local military commanders start taking control of their own regions. The communication lines between Pyongyang and the provinces break down. Tens of thousands of hungry civilians pour into the streets. Protests begin, not against America, but against their own government. The personality cult begins to crumble. People tear down portraits of Kim Jong Un. Soldiers refuse orders. The regime's myth, the invincible eternal leadership, shatters overnight. The collapse of North Korea would send shockwaves across the world. China would move first. Troops would rush to secure the border, fearing millions of refugees crossing into Manchuria. Beijing might even send forces into North Korea to restore order. South Korea would face an impossible dilemma. Do they intervene, risking war with China, or wait and watch as chaos unfolds? The United States and Japan would monitor closely, fearing that nuclear weapons could fall into the wrong hands. Meanwhile, inside North Korea, power vacuums appear everywhere. Rogue generals seize weapons. Provinces declare autonomy. The Workers' Party disintegrates, and the question no one dares to ask, where are the nukes? If even one nuclear weapon goes missing, the world could face a new kind of crisis, one of global fear and uncertainty. As order collapses, human suffering explodes. Hospitals run out of supplies. Cities run out of food. Millions flee toward the Chinese and South Korean borders. South Korea, though rich, cannot absorb 25 million refugees overnight. Camps overflow. Disease spreads. China struggles to contain chaos on its border. International aid agencies rush in, but there's no clear government to negotiate with. The United Nations calls it the greatest humanitarian disaster of the 21st century. Images flood the internet. Children starving, soldiers surrendering, families crossing rivers under gunfire. The world is forced to confront a grim truth. The fall of the Kim regime is not just the end of a dictatorship, it's the collapse of an entire nation. Eventually, amid the chaos, a new voice emerges, one calling for reunification. South Korea, backed by international allies, begins a careful process of stabilization. They send food, doctors, and negotiators. A temporary administration is formed under UN supervision. But reunification isn't just political, it's psychological. How do you unite two nations separated for 80 years? How do you integrate citizens raised under total control into a free capitalist democracy? The cost would be astronomical, trillions of dollars. But the reward? A united Korea, free at last. The divided families would reunite. The DMZ would vanish. The scars of war would begin to heal. And perhaps after decades of fear and suffering, the Korean Peninsula could finally stand together, not as North and South, but as one. The fall of North Korea would mark the end of one of the last Cold War dictatorships. But it would also serve as a warning. Total control can last for generations, but not forever. No regime built on lies and fear can survive the truth. From the Roman Empire to the Soviet Union, every great power built on oppression eventually collapses. Kim Jong Un's regime is no exception. The question is not if it will fall, but when, and how prepared the world will be when it does. Somewhere in Pyongyang, a young child looks up at the portrait of Kim Jong Un and wonders why the world outside is forbidden. One day, that portrait might fall, and when it does, that child will finally see the sun. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. History isn't just about what happened, it's about what could happen. Until next time, keep asking questions.